everything that we see, everything that we experience, everything that we observe, everything that we observe is all wrapped up or through or by the providence of God. It is God working in all things, inanimate and animate, people and objects. It is Him working in all these things to bring about works in the divine and defined purposes. Your life is not a mistake. Your life, by you still being alive today, is not by chance. God has a purpose for you. And when God sets you on this earth, and as God keeps you alive from day to day, He has a purpose for you. So everything that God does, there is an intended end and purpose for it. He accomplishes those intended end and those purposes through His providence. Imagine with me just all these things just working together, again, inanimate and animate, whatever it is that you can think of. All these things are working together to accomplish an intended end that He has set forth for the world, for His creation, and individually for, or should I say, every event in your life happens for a particular reason. God has an intended end for you, whether that end is something seasonal or lifelong. There is a destiny, a purpose, an intended end for you, and God is arranging things providentially in your life so that He can accomplish His will in your providence. Providence comes from the Latin word providentia, which means having foresight or making provisions beforehand. Did you hear that? Having foresight and making provisions beforehand. God works He sets up the end before the beginning. He has foresight and He makes provision beforehand. He knows what you're going to come across or come up against in 2016. And He has already had the foresight into that. And He's already making provisions. If I can say it in the spiritual, He has already made provisions for you. He's already made provisions for you. So this word providence means to have foresight. Biblically speaking, we can define it as this way. The providence is the sovereign divine superintendence of all things, guiding them towards their divinely determined end. Did you hear that? Sovereign, divine, superintendent. You know what a superintendent is in the school system? A superintendent, they govern that. So he is overseeing or governing all things, guiding them towards their divine determined things don't just happen. I said this right. Things don't just happen to those who love God. They're planned by His own dear, those things that are in His hand, in His control. They are molded and shaped and time. Everything that we see around us, everything is in His hand. Everything is in control. He has everything in control. Those things are molded and shaped and timed by His clock. Things don't just happen. Comfort for you. God has a well thought out plan for you. The God that I preach about, the God that I serve, He has foresight and the ability to make provision for what He knows will happen. And He's not doing it capriciously. He's not doing it just on the whim. He has a well thought out plan for your life. And He's working all of that through His providence, or through providence. The various things that may happen in your life, they are working together all for your good and His